Oh no! Some guy under the influence of alcohol said shit about me! What the fuck is the point of bringing this up? Is this how the cartoon community acts? Like it's high school or some shit? Who fucking cares? Kinda like how Fred Durst said, "It's all about the he said, she said bullshit."
Should I keep this enter thing into the podcast?
But I do want to know, where does the I guess, not, I want to call it hate, but just
I don't like him because he's like always, he takes things too seriously. Like he's like, that wasn't funny. That wasn't funny at all. Like I think it's best if everybody should just watch my Rhapsody Kids video, which came out first, and then watch his and see which is the better one.
Oh, who fucking cares? He was drunk according to you, and besides, at least both Critical and Pan can make a presentable review, something you still can't do for some reason.
Much of my hateism is directly inspired by him. They credit him as their inspiration. Why doesn't he like me? Well, from what I understand, it's because I once harassed someone that led to a bunch of people harassing that person.
In 2004, this was something new. Before social media, we didn't really know who was making these cartoons. They were just mysterious names at the end credits, and maybe you'll catch one interview on TV somewhere during commercials. But now, you can just look them up and beg for them to notice you and threaten to kill them if they fuck up on an episode of SpongeBob. We're living in the future, people!
So, back in my past, I did insult writers, call them idiots, say that they should be ashamed of their work, and such like that. But I have never, ever, ever issued a death threat or a threat of physical harm.
It was a fucking joke, you cunts!
Do I really need to comment?
If you watched my videos, then you would have known that.
I'm gonna take Cowards Way Out for 500, Alex. Are you trying to tell me that it was okay for your herd of lol cow fans to pester people who actually put time and effort in a cartoon? Something you will never get the chance to do, by the way. And it's not bad because you never explicitly stated to witch hunt these people. But when a kid makes a video about your videos and what you do, and they never explicitly stated to witch hunt you, it's bad. It's wrong. Do you seriously expect, by the way, that any of these people who send you threats, who send you this and that, do you actually expect them to have the energy to get out of their basements, let alone to go to your house, or a loved one's house, or a P.O. box, or whatever, and start shit with you? Give me a fucking break!
And Rebel Taxi, if you hear this, don't pretend that you have less influence than I did. You right now are the biggest channel in the cartoon community. Back when I made my worst, most harsh insults towards writers, I had less than 20,000 subscribers. You have more than 10 times that amount. And you're hitting a target that isn't as out of reach, So many of the most toxic people in the community are inspired by your Rebel Taxi. Every single repetitive problems with the cartoon community meme video holds you up in high standards. If you don't respect me, at least respect the fact that you are an inspiration. And people are going to do things because they think that that's what you would want, or that they want to be like you. But I never told anyone to harass. Neither did I. I never once told anyone to harass the people that I insulted. So if it's okay to hate a guy because he insulted someone and his followers just decided to start a hate campaign, well, tell me when your birthday is. I'll buy you a fucking mirror.
Just basically the same as my last point, to be honest. He really thinks he has this moral high ground now because he has a smaller channel and he supposedly gets a harder time, or he gets the wrong end of the stick or some nonsense. This wouldn't happen if you just took the criticisms made in the original people's videos and made more of an effort. But nah, reveling in mediocrity is your strong suit, I guess. Whatever.
And besides, I absolutely suck. I'm the worst person ever. Haven't you heard that my editing is shit, even though I've got 2 editors now?
How the fuck do you have 2 editors and the videos still look the same as they always have? I like how in this video you say that with some cocky, smug pride or whatever. You have nothing to show for having 2 editors. It's baffling.
Haven't you heard that I'm obsessed with SpongeBob and Teen Titans Go, even though I haven't made a review on either of those shows in quite some time? Haven't you heard that I insult writers, even though it's been a goddamn while? A lot of the flame wars about me are haters claiming that these things are still true.
But they are. I mean, for fuck's sake. You're lying to yourself if you think your content has even remotely improved.
But to find my flaws, I have to look internally. Here's one of the problems with trolls and haters. It makes it harder and harder to find legitimate criticism. Instead of that, I get stuff like, "You take cartoons too seriously." Well, considering that it is my job, as in something that I get paid for...
Yeah. Wow. $632 per review. Yes, you heard me right. Per review. As in, this actually warrants the price of a new PC rig. Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe you're right. Maybe one day I should make a new style of animated atrocities. The video will be like this. "Hey guys, the internet told me I was taking cartoons too seriously, so from now on, this show is going to be about interpretive dance. I hope you enjoy."
What kind of argument even is this? I think the proper point would be about how you want to stick to your roots or some contrived bullshit, and that you don't want to copy Marge reviews. But again, that name is in your mouth every fucking minute, so maybe it's best you stop with that for once.
What they probably mean is that I'm obsessed. I'm not obsessed with cartoons. I do other things. I play games. I watch live action shows. I read books. I go on walks. Cartoons are my job, not my life.
You know, I have a life outside cartoons. I can prove it.
Also, kind of hard to believe that this dribbling spastic has even been outside for quote-unquote walks, since he looks like somebody that hasn't seen sunlight since 2005 to the point that his skin will burn whilst exposed to the sun.
I hate this. I hate this. I fucking hate this. I really gotta stop hitting my head against the wall for videos. It's actually starting to hurt. You want to see something? My book currently has a 2.7 or 2.8 stars on Amazon. Do I deserve it? I don't know. Maybe it's the worst book ever. I legitimately have no idea. But when criticism I get is things like autism out of 10 or I had a ghostwriter, it's hard to know if anything is in good faith.
Well, maybe it's because you can't talk properly due to your lisp.
I thought we were having steamed clams.
Oh, no. I said steamed hams. That's what I call hamburgers.
You call hamburgers steamed hams?
Yes, it's an internet slang.
Uh-huh. Where on the net?
An internet video.
Wait, what? I've been on YouTube for years and years, and I've never heard anyone use the phrase steamed hams.
Oh, not on YouTube. No, it's from Vimeo.
I see. Let's take a look at some of the more infamous reviews right now. With this being said, Growing Around Party Panic was thoroughly an unpleasant read. To be fair, I had only read the first 2 chapters. However, it only took 2 chapters for me to realize the thunderdome of suffering I occupied. There are 11 chapters in my book. Imagine if I reviewed a movie after only watching 10 minutes of it. Even movies and cartoons that legit trigger traumatic feelings, I persevered to the very end. Sally, the main character, is also absolutely disgusting. She wipes her grimy, chocolate-stained face right onto her blouse, rolls around in mud, and apparently has weekly baths, though I hope to God that character was joking when she said all that. This all happens in one day, with nothing to imply that she's even taking the time to wash her greasy hands. So you're criticizing a child character for not living up to your adult sensibilities in a world run by kids. Finally, the prose itself is childish, which almost seems intentional until you watch one of MrEnter's videos and realize this is just what the man thinks good writing looks like. The book is written from the first-person perspective of a 7-year-old girl. It's amazing how you can turn strengths into weaknesses if you just play the right words. And omit key facts. There's no fun to be had in reading this, not even as a joke. And I know this for a fact, because that's how I went into this. I thought I knew what I was getting into. I was wrong. Instead of a nice laugh with some friends, we quickly became unsettled and bored that just finishing another page felt like scaling Mount Everest with only your corneas. So, let me get this straight. You bought my book as a joke. Alright, so is the review a joke too? It's not a very funny one. I don't know what the punchline is. After the review went up, several others followed with the same rating. It kinda felt like review bombing. I'm well aware of MrEnter and his reputation on YouTube. I know that he's currently working on getting this concept made into cartoon. He has even written scripts for it, scripts that I've read. I'm glad that he's passionate about the project and has his heart set on it. But speaking as one writer to another, Enter, your book and scripts are bad. Warning, I only read the sample, for I do not want to give Enter my money. Harsh, yes, but I have my reasons that I'll get to later in the review. Right. You're determining the book is bad based on only the sample provided. Okay, sure.
Yeah, usually if you can't draw me into anything past the first episode, level, song, or in your case, chapter, it's fucking shit. It shows you're not competent and can't persuade anyone to like what you crafted. Even a sample, a fucking sample, can make or break the sale of your product. The fact that you act that this is unreasonable shows how little you actually do know about the market you are trying to put your foot into. Fucking brilliant.
Growing Around, a cartoon where kids rule and adults live their lives as kids. Now let's stop here and think about this logically for a minute here. So this is a cartoon that's based off a shitty pilot from 2007 on Disney that nobody watched named Flip Flopped, where the premise is exactly the same. Doesn't this whole premise sound familiar to anyone at all? Kids ruling. This sounds like somebody's typical baby fetish video executed in animation form, or maybe a PG version of Stephen King's Children of the Corn, where they kill adults and fuck each other. Going into depth about this, I am left with tons of totally necessary questions. 1. How do they give birth in this universe? Do kids fuck each other and shit out an old man who is a midget? 2. Do babies babysit old people? Does your IQ get lower every time you age backwards into a fetus? Since we are talking about backwards reproduction here. 3. Do little girls prostitute themselves on the street? 4. Do babies have dementia whilst aging backwards? 5. Is it illegal if a baby or a kid tries raping an adult or an old person? 6. Would child pornography be consensual when it comes to the porn now? Wouldn't porn containing adults and elders be illegal to the point of becoming deep web material? Would beauty pageants be more sexualized to the point that they'll be more appropriate for stripper poles in a strip joint? Would you be able to have an abortion when your baby is born at 100 years old? Wouldn't there be porn of kids doing weird BDSM shit behind closed doors? Does it still count as midget porn in this universe? How in the fuck does this autistic man-child not think carefully about this whilst being very unaware of the fucked up world he has just created in his little childish autistic mind? Now I can see why people assume that this premise seems to be pedophilic after a quick over-analysis. It seems like Jimmy Savile's wet dream fantasy. Not only that, but this also seems like a creepy pedophilic version of Benjamin Button, where kids die off when they're babies. Jesus Christ, MrEnter, get some fucking help. Not saying MrEnter is a pedophile, but you know what I mean. Haha.
Hey there, little fella. You visiting your grandpapa, Purr?
Kid, I'm 92 years old. I just look 8. I got that Benjamin Button's disease, you dumb.
Neat.
Speaking of making it harder to get a non-internet job, that Legends of the Internet video. It used Encyclopedia Dramatica as the source. Quick tip, anyone who uses Encyclopedia Dramatica immediately loses all credibility with me. Even if they're talking about someone I don't like. The second they mention ED, video's over. I might leave a dislike, but I'm never coming back to you. Even if you like Encyclopedia Dramatica, it is billed itself as a comedy website. It's like using The Onion from hell.
It's literally funny how all these spurgs like to make baseless assumptions about Encyclopedia Dramatica condoning doxing and harassment, when literally there are always going to be mods on that site that are always going to delete that crap, and especially illegal shit, when it's clearly uncalled for. And just fucked up. Unless if they're doxing pedos and murderers who can actually be a threat to children on the internet, or most likely in the public domain, and that's fair enough and nobody should give a shit. On Banaluni's ED page, somebody published his doc somewhere before getting deleted by a moderator of ED. And if you think he's a pedo or not, unless the proof comes out that he actually is, like some people who are legit pedos, you know, one of them formerly known as Original Blood Ace, aka John Tolock, being convicted of having graphic child pornography on his hard drive, and good old Hollywood MXT, who was caught sickly role-playing with a 9-year-old to the point that I'm surprised the police weren't called on him yet. Say what you want about Encyclopedia Dramatica, but at least they have standards.
It doesn't matter who it's for. Mine was made by someone who couldn't stand the fact that someone else had a different opinion to them. Not even joking. And you can imagine